Anyways, I went back to Providence. I'm driving up in the old Dodge Neon, which has been featured, of course, in this show many times.
Oh, yeah.
And I take Thursday night off. I got Friday and Saturday in Providence, so I'm going to take Thursday off, go up, see the folks, and have a nice dinner with the folks and my aunt and uncle, and I love those people. So I'm driving up, and I get right around Rhode Island, and the car goes,
Just
turns off, shuts off.
Powered
I was
down.
like, God, it just powered itself down.
Yeah.
And I was like, I was on sleeping pills. I
Right.
just kind of jerked the wheel, and the wheel gave out, and luckily I cruised off to the side of the road, and I mean, literally the side where my rearview mirror is still over the white line.
Wow.
I'm just on the highway, and I don't know if you've ever been in that position, but the car is whipping by. It shakes my car every time. It's like,
Right.
and the whole car is shaking, so I'm kind of scared.
Yeah.
My car's dead, but I got in my Zen yoga. I focused on the breath.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, okay, this is fine. I'm okay. Here's the other problem, buddy boy. I've been checking my Facebook as I drive, watching porn, whatever you do.
Sure.
My battery's at 4%.
Ooh.
4%, and I have no phone charger in my car
That is the worst.
because the guy blew the fuse years ago. That's a whole other side story. That was I think I might have told it at one point.
Yeah.
Some crazy Frenchman in Montreal blew my fuse. It was a whole ordeal. I think I told that story before, though. But anyways, so then the car's down. I got 4% battery. Just then, Tommy Johnigan texts, hey, can you talk right now?
Oh, my God.
And I start writing no. He calls. I'm like, nah! I'm hitting ignore. I'm like, don't text me. Stop it.
Why would you text then ask that and then call?
I think he had a big thing happening.
Okay.
So I was like, fuck, this is precious battery. So I
Right.
call my mother, and I'm like, Mom, I'm in a bad situation. I'm at 3% battery. I checked the mile. I was right in front of a mile marker. I'm at mile marker 17.4. Then I used Google Maps before my phone died. So I'm between exit 16 and 17 at mile marker 17.4. Call AAA. I'll be here. And I hung up.
Wow.
And I had all this stuff. I was like, all right, maybe I'll hike to the next exit. So I have a place to charge my phone.
What time of day are we?
It's like 6 p.m.
Okay.
So luckily, I was grateful because I wasn't in like the South Bronx or whatever.
Right.
And it wasn't nighttime, and I didn't have a gig. So it's a pretty ideal situation to break down in.
Wow, very zen. Look at the
Yes.
positives.
Oh, you got to look at the pause.
I like.
So I put a backpack on. I start walking, and I'm like, this doesn't make sense. I'll just wait for the AAA people. My mother will call it. What I don't realize at the time, my mother's phone is at 3%, and she's at a soccer game.
Who goes to soccer?
Well, she's got my nephew. He's 5. He's at soccer practice, not even a game. He's at soccer practice, but she's at 3%, and she can't just leave the 5-year-old here.
Sure.
Because if he notices this, he'll freak out and kill somebody later in life.
Right.
So it was a whole ordeal. And then a state trooper comes, these Rhode Island State Police.
Oh, great.
So I say, all right, nice to see the police.
Yeah, for once.
So at this point, I had moved to the passenger seat, thinking, now this will be better. I'm over here. As though if a car hit me, I'd be fine in the passenger seat, which doesn't really make sense. But it made me feel a little safer that I wasn't so close to the highway. So I'm in the passenger seat. The trooper pulls up. I open the door with my hands up. I get out, and he's like, get in the car. Get back in the car. And I was like,
Whoa.
because he's going to take it serious. You never know with these
Right.
people. I could be, Hannibal Lecter or whatever. Or multiple Migs in the next store.
Oh,
Remember that guy?
no.
He was the guy that jerks off and says, look at the blood, and throws the cum in her face.
I never knew his name.
One of my heroes. Megs.
had a good
Anyways,
throw.
we'll probably get a poster from that English guy who's a kook.
What a nut.
I love that guy.
Do you?
Yeah, you kidding? Those posters are hilarious.
They're pretty good.
I forget his name.
They're very dark.
Very dark, but very funny.
Yeah, thanks
And,
for those. I'll keep favoriting.
I should I should think of his name because he might murder us if we don't. Well, I'll get it on the next episode.
What's it, Muggsy Miggs?
So just chill until the next episode.
There you go.
So anyways, the trooper pulls up. I get out of the car. He yells at me to get back in the car. And I'm like, jeez. So I get back. I'm in the passenger seat. He comes up, and he's like, what seems to be the problem? And he's very handsome. These women, I don't know why they don't all fuck cops. I think I'm into it.
I think it's they're fucked up in the head.
The cops?
Yeah.
Yeah, probably. But so are comics. They fuck us. Not
Yeah,
me,
but we're
but
on TV.
That's true. Cops are on TV.
Well,
First reality show.
in a bad way.
Yeah.
But like firemen are good people. They're saving, you know.
Right.
Keep going.
Well, this guy had a big hat and sunglasses. I got a boner immediately. He had badges and medals or whatever.
Slow down.
And I was like, yeah, well, in my car, it broke down. It's a piece of shit. I like to swear, so it makes it seem like I'm a man, you know?
Yeah.
Because he's a trooper. So I was like, it's a piece of shit. Who knows? Fuck, cunt, cum.
Yeah.
You know, I want to let him know that I'm a cool guy. And so he's like, okay. And I'm like, I texted the mile marker, And the exit, and he's like, wow, that's good. He was impressed. I could tell. He was like, you're a real man.
Yeah.
Felt good. You know, you want people in uniform, you want their approval, don't you?
Oh, completely.
Anyone who wears boots, I want to like me.
McDonald's uniform, anything. I'll take it.
I don't mind if I don't get their approval, but anyway, so then he's like, I'll push you off the road so you're not so close to the road.
Good thinking.
And I was like, all right. And he's like, I'm going to leave you here. He's like, I trust that you called the thing. You stay put, stay in the car. And he's like, I'm going to come back in like a half hour. Hopefully you won't be here. And I was like, okay, great. So he moves back. They have that little grill toe thing on the front of the car for pushing people.
Oh, is that what that is?
Yeah.
I thought those were running over minorities.
It probably is that too. So anyways, I get in the driver's seat. I got to crawl across, the stick shift in my dirty laundry or whatever. And so I'm sitting there, and he gets behind me and nuzzles up, bumps me. And for whatever reason, I put it in neutral. I have my foot on the brake because I'm just used to having the foot on the brake. And I'm looking in the rear view. He's just giving me the thumbs up, and I'm giving him the thumbs up, like, yeah, push me.
Yeah.
And he's like, we can't communicate. So he's just waving his arms like, no, he's pointing things. I'm like, what's wrong with this guy? I'm like, yeah, just push me, you dumb pig.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, I'm just holding my foot on the brake the whole time, so he can't move the car. So this goes on for about a whole minute before I realize I'm an asshole. And he's like waving. He's like, what the fuck are you doing?
Oh, no. The whole man thing's out the window.
Right out the window. Now I'm just a gay woman.
Right.
So I started crying and putting on an eyeliner. So I take the foot off the brake. He nudges me. So smooth. I cut the wheel. He's like, you got to turn the wheel. So I turn the wheel. He pushes me. Easy as pie. Right up into the grass.
Oh, nice.
Bang, boom, bang. So now I got to wait for the tow truck driver. My mother texts me back with 1%. She says, Dad's on his way. He's going to pick me up. So that way I don't have to drive with a tow truck driver.
Yeah, perfect.
Pretty good.
Well, you'd probably have a better convo with the tow truck
That's
driver.
a good point.
Yeah.
So they tow within 100 miles. I'm 88 miles from my parents' house.
Perfect.
Tow truck driver shows up. Nice guy. He tries to look at the hood or whatever, and he's like, yeah, you fucked up your timing belt at a high rate of speed. That ruins the car. Car's dead. And I'm like, well, whatever. At least I'm
totaled?
alive. I think. I don't know. I might have to sink fucking $8,000 into it, but it's a Dodge Neon with 150,000 miles on it. So.
How ironic. You have great timing.
Yeah. So the timing belt is off. So then he comes, he pulls it up onto the tow truck, and then I was like, I was wondering if you could give me a ride, one exit up. And then I go, because my dad is coming to pick me up, so I wouldn't have to drive with you. I realized as I'm saying this, I'm telling this guy, my dad is driving 200 miles because I'm like, I don't want to be with, a tow truck driver.
But I'm sure he didn't want to be with you either.
Probably not. But I think I hurt his feelings because I was like, how... I wouldn't want to. And then I got the glasses, so I look like an intellectual.
Right.
He probably thinks I'm some 1%er driving a Neon with glasses. And I'm like, hey.
Isn't this this is a very comedian thing? You're constantly thinking about other people's perception of you. You know, the cop thinks you're a woman. This guy thinks you're an intellectual. That's funny.
Yeah. I'm always worried people are going to think that I'm a big fag or a racist or
the opposite of them.
Yes.
The opposite of them is what they hate.
Right. So you want to make sure you're, I know my stuff here. I pulled off to the side of the road, boo. And so anyways, the tow truck driver gives me a ride, one exit up. And good thing I got the dad ride because we were out of things to talk about in a 4-minute ride.
Right, yeah.
And then he's like, what brings you here? So I actually said I was a comedian, which normally I wouldn't do.
Right, you were desperate.
So I was like, I'm a comic. And he was like, huh, all right. I thought that would open up a big ball of jizz. Like I thought he'd go crazy,
Usually it does.
But nothing. He was like, all right. And so then he drops me off at a Burger King. My dad comes about 15 minutes later, and then we have about 15 minutes of conversation because since it's happened, my dad's mother died, which we talked about in the last episode.
Geez.
And he went on vacation to South Carolina. So I got about 10 minutes of him telling me stuff, and I was like, maybe he's a new man. His mom died. He's going to be really talkative and fun. Nothing. About 10 minutes, he talked about the golf trip. That was it. And so I was like, you know what? I'm going to really get in there and learn from my dad. And I was like, hey, what about... I was like, so tell me about the funeral. How was it? I thought I'd get in there and have him be like, well. And he was like, what can you do?
Wow.
And so I was like, all right. And then 35 minutes listening to sports radio. And here's the weirdest part. We get there. We pull up to my house. Right as we're pulling into my mother's street, right behind us pulls the tow truck. So we get there at the same time. So I got to see him again. It's like awkward. I'm like, hey, hello again. I gave him a $40 tip.
Good man.
Not bad.
Not bad at all.
I felt bad for taking my own ride.